There's a piece in your closet right now with the tag still on it. You bought it for a version of yourself you were going to become, and that morning never came. Here's what almost no one will tell you. The piece isn't the problem. The shopping list was. There are 5 things almost no one has seen Ines de la Fressange wear in nearly 40 years of photographs. 5 things almost every other woman buys repeatedly, even when she knows she shouldn't. At 68, in Paris, she still looks more current than most women a third her age. It isn't because of what she buys, it's because of what she refuses to. And there's one word she used about her own style in a 2024 interview that explains every refusal underneath this video. Hold on to that. I'll tell you what it is at the end. Look at her closet for a moment before we start. The same white shirt for 30 years. The same navy sweater in different cuts, the same trench coat she has worn since the 80s. 40 years of photographs. And watch what's missing from every single one. That's what we're decoding. So why do most women keep buying pieces they don't wear? Because the industry has trained you to shop the want, not the life. The catalog, the magazine, the algorithm, none of them know your morning. They know what looks aspirational on a 25-year-old model. So you buy for that imaginary morning, and the piece sits there. Ines built her whole reputation on the opposite approach. Karl Lagerfeld's muse for 2 decades. The first model to sign an exclusive contract with a luxury house. And she said directly on the record that nothing should be expensive. That the wealthiest people are rarely the most stylish. That a denim shirt from a chain store can read just as well as a designer one. She didn't get this look by buying more. She got it by refusing 5 specific things for 40 years. Let's decode them one at a time. Refusal 1. She refuses shoes she has to endure. Call it the endurance test. In an interview she gave just before turning 55, she said something that should have been the headline of every fashion magazine that year. She said, "I understood very late that you have to be a bit comfortable. It is said that all that you know when you are old, you learn when you are young. In other words, she wasted years in shoes that hurt. She found her own truth almost too late. And if you've already given up the shoes that hurt, you didn't fall behind. You arrived on time. You figured out on your own what took her decades to admit. Now, the mechanism. Ines has said on the record that flat shoes are sexier than high heels, not more comfortable. Sexier, because in her view, there is nothing less elegant than a woman who is visibly trying. A woman wincing every 6 steps reads as trying. A woman who hasn't sat down in 20 minutes because her feet are too sore to stand up again reads as trying. The shoes that hurt are sabotaging the rest of the outfit you spent 2 hours choosing. This is why her own everyday shoe, and she has said this publicly, is a pair of 70s boots she trusts completely. Not heels, not couture, boots she can walk in for 8 hours. The test is simple. If you cannot walk in those shoes for 2 hours without thinking about your feet, they belong at a wedding, not in your daily rotation. The summary: refuse the shoe you're enduring. Endurance is not elegance. Refusal 2. She refuses to stack jewelry on her hand. Call it the hand tell. In a 2012 interview, Ines gave a list, and it's one of the most quoted in fashion writing. She said word for word, earrings and color and necklace and the lipstick and fake eyelashes and fake hair. It's a nightmare. Notice the order. She doesn't start with the obvious things. She starts with the hand, because the hand is where it reads first. And the worst offender, in her own words, is the layered ring, the engagement ring, the wedding ring, The ring for the first baby, the ring for the second baby, all worn at once, all life. That, she said, dates a hand faster than wrinkles do. A little shell on a cotton thread, she said, would say more. And if you've ever taken off one piece before leaving the house and felt instantly lighter, that wasn't a feeling, that was the hand tell. You already know. The mechanism is this. When there are too many things on the hand, the eye can't choose where to land. So it lands on age. 1 bracelet, the eye lands on the bracelet. 3 bracelets plus rings plus a watch, the eye lands on the years. Ines does not refuse jewelry. She wears one statement piece, often a wide gold cuff, a single chain. She refuses to add when she's already worn enough. The summary: pick the one piece your hand carries today, then refuse the rest. Refusal 3. She refuses to dress head to toe in luxury brands. Call it the logo tax. This is where her position is most countercultural and most useful for the woman watching. In 2024, she gave an interview to the official Paris Fashion Federation. And she said something extraordinary about how Parisian women actually shop. She said Parisian women don't necessarily seek the guarantee of famous logos. In other words, the women who define French style do not buy by brand. She tells the same kind of story over and over. A girl walked into a fashion show in a printed dress. Inès was certain it was Marni. She asked the girl where the dress came from. The girl said it was my grandmother's. That moment in her telling was more elegant than anything else in the room. A 2025 luxury jacket worn over a vintage shirt. Chosen. 2,000 euros of head-to-toe designer. Bought. The mechanism is this. When you wear one brand from neckline to ankle, the person disappears, the clothes wear you. When you mix one luxury piece with one thing from a high street store, one thing from a flea market, one thing from your grandmother, the person reappears. You wear the clothes. And here's the unexpected validation. If you've ever paired your favorite designer piece with something cheap, a cotton tee, a market basket, your dad's old belt, and felt the outfit got better, that wasn't an accident. You already understood the logo tax, you just didn't have the name for it. The summary: no outfit should look like it came from one shop. Refuse the matched set. Quick note before the next refusal. If you want the exact 5-piece shopping list Ines has been building her wardrobe from for 40 years, the same pieces she buys in different versions, year after year, I've put together a free checklist with all of them. Link in the description. No cost. Refusal 4. She refuses to buy anything that won't read right in 10 years. Call it the decade test. The trench coat she wears in 2026 is a version of the one she wore in 1986. The navy sweater she wears in 2026 is a version of the one she wore in 1991. The white shirt she has worn for every photograph, every campaign, every street shot for 30 years. She doesn't add to her wardrobe, she replaces in the same shapes. In a 1991 interview, opening her first boutique on Avenue Montaigne, she said exactly this. Making ready to wear, but without a revolution. I wanted basic pieces, simple white blouses, a straight skirt, a blue blazer. 40 years ago, she had already decided what she would wear for the rest of her life, and she refused everything else. In contrast, most women's closets are full of pieces tied to a specific season, the color of that year, the print of that month, the sleeve length that was on every catalog cover for 6 weeks and then disappeared. The mechanism is this: every trend has a half-life. A piece tied to a trend stops working when the trend stops working. A piece tied to a shape works as long as the shape suits you. The white shirt, the navy sweater, the cropped jean, the trench. These are shapes, not trends. And if you have one piece in your closet you've worn happily for a decade, that's the only piece you should be replacing. You already know the decade test. You just haven't been applying it to new purchases. The test is this. Before buying anything new, ask one question. Will I wear this in 10 years? If the honest answer is no, refuse it. The summary: buy shapes, not seasons. Before the last refusal, here's the trap most women fall into when they hear a list like this. You read it and you think, I'll just stop buying? But Ines has never said the answer is to stop buying. She said, buy with a template. The same handful of pieces on rotation, replaced when they wear out. She isn't anti-shopping, she's anti-impulse. She doesn't refuse new things. She refuses things that don't fit the template she has been building for 40 years. That's a completely different posture from austerity. And it's what makes the final refusal, the fifth, the one that matters most. Refusal 5. She refuses to look like she walked out of a magazine. Call it the costume effect. This is the most important refusal, and the one most modern style content has gotten exactly wrong. Magazine style outfits to be photographed. A real woman dresses to be lived in. When everything in your outfit was chosen at the same time for the same look from the same shop, you read as styled, not chosen. In her own words, no one should look like she walks straight out of a magazine. The bag matches the shoes. The shoes match the belt. The belt matches the scarf. It looks correct. It looks lifeless. The mechanism is what photographers call the assembled look. A coordinated outfit reads as a set. A slightly mismatched outfit reads as a choice. Ines has built every famous outfit of her career on one rule. One thing in the outfit shouldn't match anything else in it. A 1940s necklace with a 2026 silk shirt. Chosen. A magazine page outfit bought. And here's her permission. And it matters more than the rule. She has said she has a wardrobe crisis most mornings too. She stands in front of her closet with nothing feeling right. She isn't refusing to look like a magazine because she always has it figured out. She's refusing to look like a magazine because she knows real life looks slightly imperfect. The experiments that don't quite work, those aren't failures. They're the difference between a real woman and a magazine page. The summary: refuse the matched set. One thing should always look slightly off on purpose. Now, that word. The one Ines used in a 2024 interview. It's pruning. In an interview with the official Paris Fashion Federation, she said this, and I'll quote her directly. I'm pruning. Less fussy, less makeup, less hairstyle, more letting go, and above all, not trying to be like before. Moving forward. Pruning. Not adding, not updating, cutting back, that's her word, not mine. And once you hear that word, look back at all 5 refusals. They are the same idea, wearing different clothes. The endurance test: refuse the shoe that hurts. The hand tell: refuse the extra ring. The logo tax: refuse the match designer set. The decade test: refuse the trend. The costume effect: refuse the magazine page. Every one of them is a removal, not an addition. That's the whole secret. Not more pieces, not more money, less. So, here's your permission for tomorrow morning. Open your closet. Find the piece you bought for the morning that never came. Take off the second bracelet. Put on the shoes you can walk in. You don't need a new wardrobe. You need to refuse the things that have been quietly aging your outfit for years. If you'd like the complete list of pieces Ines has been buying for 40 years, link in the description. And if this gave you one refusal you'll actually make tomorrow, the like button tells the algorithm to show this to one more woman who needs to hear it. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.